मी सुनेत्रा अजित पवार गांभीर्यपूर्वक प्रतिज्ञा करते की कायद्याद्वारे स्थापित झाले आहे अशा भारताच्या संविधानाबद्दल मी खरी श्रद्धा व निष्ठा बाळगीन. मी भारताची सार्वभौमता व एकात्मता उन्नत राखीन. मी महाराष्ट्र राज्याची उपमुख्यमंत्री म्हणून माझी कामे निष्ठापूर्वक व ससद्विवेक बुद्धीने पार पाडेन आणि संविधान व कायदा यानुसार सर्व तऱ्हेच्या लोकांना मी गांभीर्यपणे व निपक्षपातीपणे तसेच कोणाच्याही विषयी ममत्वभाव किंवा आकस न बाळगता न्याय वागणूक देईन. मी सुनेत्रा अजित पवार गांभीर्यपूर्वक प्रतिज्ञा करते की महाराष्ट्र राज्याची उपमुख्यमंत्री म्हणून माझ्या विचारार्थ आणली जाईल किंवा मला ज्ञात होईल अशी कोणतीही बाब अशी उपमुख्यमंत्री म्हणून माझी कामे यथायोग्य पार पाडण्यासाठी आवश्यक असेल ते खेरीज करून एरवी मी कोणत्याही व्यक्तीला किंवा व्यक्तींना प्रत्यक्षपणे वा अप्रत्यक्षपणे कळवणार नाही किंवा त्यांच्याकडे उघड करणार नाही.
धन्यवाद.
अजित दादा अमर रहे. अजित दादा अमर रहे. अजित दादा अमर रहे. अजित दादा अजित दादा अजित दादा अमर रहे. अजित दादा अमर रहे. अजित दादा अमर रहे. अजित दादा अजित दादा
Saurabh Gupta there with us. Saurabh, we're watching, Sunetra Pawar shortly after she was sworn in as the Deputy Chief Minister, sloganeering taking place, supporters and, workers of the NCP there saying that Ajit Pawar, Amar Rahe, Aage Badho. So, sloganeering also taking place. Very serious and as you were, mentioning earlier, that Sunetra Pawar, it's just been so soon after her husband died. He died on Wednesday, and today she's being sworn in as the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, a post that he held several times, in fact a record number of times. A lot to take in, lots of developments there, and this is going to have far-reaching impact on the politics of Maharashtra.
Yes, Sunetra Pawar has now become the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra. She has taken oath as Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra at the Lok Bhavan in Mumbai. Now what this means is that she has taken her husband's position. Ajit Pawar, as we know, died at that plane crash on Wednesday. But what now is going to be the biggest challenge for Sunetra Pawar is tackling the political minefield she is walking into. On the one side, you have an assertive Sharad Pawar faction that is saying that the merger of the NCP that was on the cards was something that Ajit Pawar, her late husband, wanted. The other side, you have top leaders of the NCP of the Ajit Pawar faction saying no to the merger and halting talks. So, balancing family ties and political aspirations of our party's leaders and MLAs will be the biggest challenge that Sunetra Pawar will have to face. It will be a test of a political acumen, but also let's not forget that she walks into this role in a sympathy wave. She will have to get elected to the House. In all likelihood, she will fight from the Baramati assembly seat that was held by Ajit Pawar. If there's a by-election, in all likelihood in Maharashtra, there has been a custom that when a leader dies, usually if a family member is contesting, other political parties shy away from fielding a candidate in respect of the family that have lost a loved one and respected leaders. So in that context, her election is not going to be much of a challenge unless, of course, the family ties become a challenge. Because remember, Sunetra Pawar had to fight an election in Baramati with Supriya Sule, and in that election, Supriya Sule won. So this is going to be a test of a political acumen, how she balances family ties versus political aspirations of party men, and how even this morning we saw when Sharad Pawar dropped that bombshell that he did not know she was going to be sworn in as Deputy Chief Minister, while Sunetra Pawar may have been in Mumbai, Parth Pawar, her elder son, rushed to the Sharad Pawar residence. So that's still the kind of influence that Sharad Pawar wields, and therefore Sunetra Pawar will have to deal with that. But let's not also forget that Sunetra Pawar is a part of the Mahayuti, the ruling alliance, and has the support of the BJP. In fact, we know within hours of Ajit Pawar's death, it was communicated to her that she would have to take on the mantle of leadership. Difficult, tragic circumstances, hardly any time to process the grief, but politics does not pause even in times of tragedy. That's the first lesson perhaps Sunetra Pawar has experienced firsthand, and now of course the political challenge, having been sworn in as Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra.
That's right. Some may describe it as unseemly haste. However, as you said, Saurabh, that you can't have that vacuum in the power mix. And let's go across to Sujata now, who has been tracking all these developments. In fact, she was tracking Sunetra Pawar's movements as well. And Sujata, now, as you'll see Sunetra Pawar again, she is the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, the first woman Deputy Chief Minister, as we keep emphasizing, though, of course, she has come into that position through very tragic circumstances. It still remains to be seen what this means, if we look at the wider picture, the macro picture in terms of the NCP, and of course her father-in-law as such, Sharad Pawar. What reactions are there? None of them were present for this. Supriya Sule in Delhi. Sujata, over to you.
Well, absolutely. And this is a very stark and a somber example of political survival that has started, that has been done by the NCP in this very scenario, because, they were of the view that the head is gone, but the lineage must remain, because of which we saw this happening. And now that Sunetra Pawar has been sworn in as the Deputy Chief Minister of the state, this is going to be a responsibility for her to ensure to not only take on the role and the political legacy of Ajit Pawar ahead, but also to work on the vacuum that has been created in the minds of the cadre, to ensure that they do have a leader, they do have that face who's going to look up to them. And also in view of the upcoming Zilla Parishad elections, this was important, for which senior faces from the NCP faction like Praful Patel, then there was Sunil Tatkare and the other leader Praful Patel, who came in and they ensured that this step was taken up. They conducted an online meeting with Sunetra Pawar, explaining her that why was it important for the stark movement of getting her sworn in as the Deputy Chief Minister, and how this would even help the party sustain in this very political scenario of Maharashtra. Despite it was the Sharad Pawar faction who did try in the initial days, in the initial few hours after the final rites were concluded, trying to show the unity that both the families had. But despite it, meetings were called in without informing the Sharad Pawar faction, in which we also saw Sharad Pawar giving up a statement in the morning that he was not informed and he was not consulted before making any such decision. So an assertive Sharad Pawar stating that he was unaware, he was also not consulted, not approached by any of the leader of the NCP Ajit Pawar faction, and whatever goes on just goes on is what he was of the view of. So this remains an important task for Sunetra Pawar. But despite this is also going to be important for the other leaders, the other parties of the Mahayuti, which is the BJP and the Shiv Sena, to gel up with Sunetra Pawar as the Deputy Chief Minister, because we know that several big projects coming up in Maharashtra. It is the Zilla Parishad election, it is the upcoming budget, which earlier was to be presented by departed Ajit Pawar, but now will it be presented by the Chief Minister himself, or will the finance portfolio be given to Sunetra Pawar, is a bigger question in the fray to be answered later. But at this point, it is to watch out for whether will Sunetra Pawar Pawar get all the portfolios that were held by Ajit Pawar, and if not, then which other important ones will she take over? So certainly
Right.
a stark movement by the NCP without consulting the Sharad Pawar faction. Back to you.
All right, Sujata, thanks so much for joining us. With that, we also have our guests with us, Dr. Mayur Parekh, Sudhir Suryavanshi and Smriti Kopikar, all waiting very patiently. Thank you so much. And Smriti, I know you were speaking earlier just as Sunetra Pawar, her swearing in took place. And I have to say, I don't understand Marathi, but she was very somber. She did the pledge. She was sworn very smoothly. The pledge that she took, though, going forward, it's not going to be so smooth sailing. She's going to have to navigate a lot of political minefields, isn't it, Smriti?
That's right. It's a standard oath, whether one takes it in Marathi or English or any other language. It's a standard oath. But what I want to point out is that this evening, at 5 o'clock, a new chapter has started in Maharashtra's politics that is going to have ramifications over the next few weeks, months, perhaps even years. And these ramifications will be felt in the NCP that Mr. Ajit Pawar headed. We still don't know who the leader is, but perhaps that also would be Sunetra Pawar. So there will be some ramifications and outcomes and fallouts in the party. There will be ramifications between the NCP and NCP Sharad Pawar faction. There are going to be some rumblings and outcomes of all of this on Maharashtra's politics about how much more dominant the ruling BJP becomes or doesn't become. And this move, the ruling party has ensured that it continues to remain the most dominant. It continues to be the one to call the shots, never mind whose party it is and who else headed it, and so on and so forth. And irrespective of the fact that Chief Minister Fadnavis and Ajit Pawar shared an extremely trusted, amicable, affectionate relationship. But when it comes to politics, really, there are no friends, no foes, and perhaps no relatives either. And what you see today, therefore, is, to my mind, the opening of a new chapter in the state's politics. We're going to see different NCP. We're going to see different reactions from the opposition. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, Mrs. Sunetra Pawar is not Mr. Ajit Pawar. She doesn't have those kinds of smarts, those kinds of connects, the personal connect that he had, and the ability to ride over setbacks, failures, accusations. Don't forget that Fadnavis, during the election campaign, had sworn that he would make Ajit Pawar do chucky pissing, and none of us have forgotten that. And then within years, literally Ajit Pawar was shaking his hands and hugging him and sitting next to him and sharing power. Now that's kind of a rare trait in politics. So Sunetra is probably not exactly what her husband was, and she cannot be, let's give her that. But she is no novice either, and that's a fact too. And so how she navigates the next few weeks really is going to be extremely crucial, because she is responding to the strings that are being pulled from outside her party. That much, I think, is very clear to most of us now.
Or
those
even within the party, the senior leaders, Praful Patel, Chhagan Bhujbal, and Sunil Tatkare as well. But Sudhir Suryavanshi, we spoke about the political minefields going forward. We do know Sharad Pawar unhappy because he said to the media that he had no idea about the fact that she's going to be sworn in. He also said that the meeting had taken place with Ajit Pawar for the unification of the NCP. But significantly, Pawar went to meet with Sharad Pawar. So clearly, there's an effort to keep that, talks on and keep that connection within the family. How do you see it?
See, one thing we need to understand about the Pawar family. they are very pragmatic sort of political leader, and I think the Path Pawar who went to meet Sharad Pawar, the family is also important. They don't want to strain their ties, but at the same time, they also don't want to be come under the shadow of Mr. Sharad Pawar, Supriya Sule, and the Rohit Pawar. It is very clear. Sharad Pawar also categorically said several times, family and politics is two completely different things. And the Path has done his job by meeting the Sharad Pawar and the Supriya Sule, by inviting or pursuing them for the vote ceremony of his mother, which happened now in Mumbai. So it's very clear for them. But the interesting part, what I see, as I think this first time the things are unfolding without connecting to Sharad Pawar. Generally, Maharashtra politics is always evolve, unfold around Sharad Pawar. But first time and it is happening, and the people who are part of his family, they are doing it. They are deliberately cutting the ties, political ties, not the family ties. Family ties will be continue, like that also, because Sunetra Pawar will go back to Baramati. Many rituals said to be completed about Ajit Pawar. They will go back. Family will be again seen together. But political ties, what I see, that will be completely different. That will be, as Smriti said, it will be new chapter. And this new chapter for the Sunetra Pawar, the Ajit Pawar has left a big shoes, and she has to feel it. And because Ajit Pawar was the face of Maratha Bahujan politics, he was the last titan of the Maratha politics. Many youth, particularly in Maratha, he has big, fan following among them. And Sunetra Pawar comes from the Marathwada. She is, a sister of Padmasree Patil who passed away a few years back. So she knew how to handle the things. And Marathwada is, always seen the politics very closely. And she was married to the Western Maharashtra politician. So it's not, tough, or it's not also easy for us. So she has to manage the thing. So as a, observer or political analyst, we should also give the breathing time to her and to her evolve or to her unfold it. I think she is very few word lady. She will not talk much. If you see during the campaign also 2024, Supriya Sule versus Sunetra Pawar, she had not spoken much against the Sharad Pawar. Even Sharad Pawar has made some very weird sort of comment. Ki Baramati will vote for the the real Pawar, not the Pawar from the outsider. That time when her reaction was sort of, she just cried. She just cried. She didn't say anything. So she knew how her father-in-law also treated her. She knew her husband also treated by the Pawar. So I think she is very clear in her mind. They are very clear in their mind. Therefore, the follower of the Ajit Pawar and the Praful Patel, then Chhagan Bhujbal, then Sunil Tatkare, and they were the people who were always stood with Ajit Pawar during his crisis time. And they are very close to Ajit Pawar. And these are the only people who pursue him to join the BJP also. So I think, and they want to join, align with the BJP. But now the question is how they will sustain. Because BJP is like an elephant in the room. It will not leave the Ajit Pawar, in absence of Ajit Pawar, Supriya Sule as an easy walk also. They will also see to cut to size their political, the strength in Western Maharashtra and many parts of the. So they have to not only remain in governance, they also sustain, they also protect their citadel. That is also important for her also. Otherwise, it will be end game for the NCP.
That's right. Let me quickly get in Dr. Mayur Parekh also on that. Now the challenge really begins, isn't it? We'll have to wait and see. Can never underestimate Sharad Pawar either, given the kind of role he has played in Maharashtra politics. What happens next to this particular, faction of the NCP, even if the top leaders of the party are, solidly behind Sunetra Pawar, efforts will be made by Sharad Pawar as well in this transitional period. Right, so if you can just unmute yourself.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Just now we have seen the swearing-in ceremony of Maharashtra's first female deputy chief minister. What thing which comes into our mind is that there will be Chhagan Bhujbal who may be helping him in Vidhan Sabha, how to deal with MLAs, how to deal with the questions, how to raise the questions, maybe. We don't know what the responsibilities and roles are being now will be given to the MLAs. There will be another assistance from the parliament, from Praful Patel, who will be helping Parth Pawar in dealing with the parliamentarian affairs. There will be Sunil Tatkare, who will be heading party or will be taking decision on the party front. But the question is that the connect with Ajit Pawar and the common man, or the finance minister with the different department government officials, will Sunetra Pawar be able to take that place? Will she able to take up that position? We know Ajit Pawar, he used to come to the office at morning 6 o'clock, calling first appointment at morning 6:30, used to continue in his office till late night. Will Sunetra Pawar be able to do this? Ajit Pawar was the person who used to take the applications of the common man, go to villages and the district panchayat offices and go and call out each person by his name, and used to take the notings from the each person and reply everyone individually. Will Sunetra Pawar be doing this? This is the place and this is the point where we'll really have to see how far Sunetra Pawar is succeeded or will be continuing and will be taking the place of Ajit Pawar.
All right. Well, thank you so much all for joining us on the program. Just a short while ago, Sunetra Pawar sworn in as the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra. Lots of challenges ahead for her. There's a big change in the political landscape of Maharashtra there. With that, we'll slip into a short break. News updates continue right here.